Hey legends, welcome back to the Mason Cox Show. We got the preview of this week's AFL round. We've got Collingwood go over to Fremantle to play the Dockers. We've got Carlton are playing the Gold Coast Suns, big tester for the Gold Coast Suns. And also Geelong play GWS. Now that's the go-to one I'm very excited to talk about. But without further ado, we're going to get straight into this podcast starting now. All right, legends, let's get straight into this. Welcome, Brayden Cox.
G'day, Mason. What a weekend of footy we have lined up for us. Let's jump straight into it. Straight into it. Western Bulldogs versus Sydney at Marvel. Bulldogs are on a bit of a tear. Sydney, I don't know, they're a bit pretty bloody good. Yeah, top of the ladder. They're doing pretty well, 150+%. So the media just sitting and waiting. But I think, the big win that Western Bulldogs had last week, it might mean that they're on the start of a tear. We saw Carlton last year. They started real rough and then they came home with a wet sail. Now, Bulldogs, they're coming out the other side. But how do you see this one going? We got a big ruck battle ahead.
Oh, Tim English, Brody Grundy, but hey. I'm excited for that little matchup there in the middle. I know Brody. I think he's got a little love for Tim. He seems to always have it over him. I don't know what it is, but he seems to always. Tim's a very good player, but Brody seems to just really enjoy this matchup. I'm really excited for that one. But
how have you seen Brody's form? He's back.
Hey, he's got a bloodied eye at the moment. I sent him a text the other day. I was like, "You good, brother? Do you need a pair? Do you need a pair of glasses?" Man, I know a guy. I know a fella.
You're like, stop pushing your goggles on me.
Oh,
door-to-door goggles.
Like, I don't want to play hard in the goggle game, Mason. Shut up.
But he's been like, it's like he's back to all Oz form. Like, and you knew that he was. Now he's back to being like the one-out main ruckman for a team. It was inevitable that it was going to happen.
Definitely helps with the midfield he's got in there too.
Yeah, true.
They're absolutely killing it inside. But it is a home game for the Western Bulldogs here. Now, they've won 2 in a row. They did beat your Giants last week, so that's a big scalp for them. And
Can they go back-to-back Sydney winners?
Booster? Who knows? I don't know. But it is a Marvel game over there versus Sydney. And now I'm going to have to say the Swans. I'm going to say the Swans win this one. But the Western Bulldogs, man, I'm telling you, they're showing up now and they're a threat. So you never know in this one, but if I'm going to have to go, I'll go Sydney.
Yeah. That Marvel makes it a bit interesting. Look, you got to go Sydney.
Yep.
Yeah, they're proven.
Tough to go past them, top of the ladder for a reason. Now we're going to the next game, North Melbourne versus Port.
Yeah.
Oh, Port. Are they off this high yet? Because they're going down. They're going down south to Tasmania, over there to Hobart for this game. North Melbourne home ground. Got to appease Tasmanians over there because they're getting sponsored by them until they get the Tasmanian team, that's for sure.
Jeez, it's going to be cold down there, isn't it?
Geez. I think the best chance of North winning this one is a bit of a hailstorm, to be honest with you. It is a North home game. Let's get those Tassie fans excited, right? Let's hope that North Melbourne wins this, but if you're sitting there telling me that Port Adelaide's going to lose, I wouldn't believe you. So I'm going to go Port Adelaide. They continue. Ken Hinkley happy with this win. And, they got them winning over North Melbourne.
Well, North won a quarter last week. So if they try to win 2 quarters and then build from there, 3 quarters, 4 quarters, you'd win the game, right? If you won all 4 quarters.
That's usually how it works, yeah.
So maybe that's how we just got to break it down. We're little goals. Goals, win a couple of quarters. They're not going to win the game. Port will win this one.
Yeah.
But, eventually you have to think, North is going to get someone.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. They can't not win a game all year.
They put Essendon to the sword till halftime. So they were in it for half a game.
Putting them to the sword would mean like that would.
They were winning? No, they weren't winning, but they were at least in competition till halftime.
For a quarter.
Now, for a quarter, you got to start somewhere. Now, the big question for you, the big question for everyone is, how many people are going to show up to this game?
Wow.
Over or under 5,000? What do you reckon? What was there, 12,000 in TIO last week?
It's a hard one because they won't get over 5,000 people, but they say they get 6 to 7. It's the way that they report it. And then you can't actually, we need someone on the gate. We need someone on the gate telling us the real number. We need a mole.
I'm confused because usually the game's in Launceston, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now it's in Hobart?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. No. There's only 2 cities really in Tasmania that are big enough to host an AFL game. We'll see where the Tasmanian team decides to land on. I'm not sure if they've accepted the the stadium rights yet.
What the hell's going on down
Maybe
there?
in 10 years we'll figure it out.
You get the mail by pigeon from Tassie.
If there's anyone from Tasmania listening, show up to the game, please. Because we want to see that Tasmanians are invested in AFL and they're showing up for AFL games, and we want to get excited for the Tassie Devils.
Tassie Devils.
Is that what they're going to be called? Yes, the Tassie Devils down there in Tasmania. So
I saw someone posted a picture. They're still trying to see if it's fake or not, but the Tassie Tiger. Someone got a photo of a Tassie Tiger out in the wild.
What?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
It's got to be. I don't know if it's fake. But it looked.
That'd be cool.
It was good photos.
To like go missing and then all of a sudden show. Oh, that'd be
It's got like the photo I think they have is like it's got like this underbite looking jaw thing going on.
Okay.
But it's got the stripes on its back. It's wishful thinking.
It's not
I
like
want it to be real.
You know, like the thing in China where they had the pandas at the zoo that turned out to be dogs that they had painted. Did you see that story? Hopefully this isn't the same thing.
That sounds like a real Florida man.
Yeah, it is. We need to get back into that. We're going to the next game. Carlton versus the Gold Coast Suns over there at Marvel.
Yeah.
This is an interesting game. Carlton got smashed by Sydney last week, so they're hoping to get back on the horse, and Gold Coast beat Geelong by a good margin of 64 points.
Big trip to come back.
That's another continent away, I feel like, to go from Darwin down there.
Like hot and sweaty to like cold, windy, barren docklands. So it's going to be, at least they'll be all tanned up. It's like going to Bali for like in June. You book your Bali trip in June.
I am going to Bali in June. So sort it out.
You get warm, you get some sun, you feel rejuvenated, you come back and you smash Carlton and Marvel, don't you?
I mean, they're my team, so I got to say yes. I'm a bit worried for this one. I will say that.
Yeah.
If DeKoning's out for another week, I'd be happy, I think, to say that the Gold Coast Suns are going to win this game.
Gold Coast don't have McAndrew, presumably. Like, he got that leg knock. So if he's out, they need all the tall defenders they can get against Carlton because they got the two big key forwards.
Coach just needs to have a big game.
Yeah. I'm going to go Carlton. But if it's just based on, like, just what I'm used to. Like, for years and years of Gold Coast not winning these types of games. But I would love it.
Get on the train, the Gold Coast train. Choo-choo!
I was on them for
a year.
They won't ever lose a game in Darwin. Like, we can pencil that in.
They should just move to Darwin.
They should just move to Darwin.
Yeah, we agree on that one. We'll move to the next game. Geelong versus GWS.
This is where it's at, mate.
Oh, this is, first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, this was the grand final.
Yeah.
This was it.
Now both teams are struggling. They need the dubs. And, well, I say struggling. They're still up there.
They're still in top 8. But I mean, they were on an absolute tear for the first little bit of the season.
Yeah, it didn't look like Geelong were going to get beaten. And same with GWS. And until inevitably, one by one, they fall like dominoes. But I got to give it to Geelong. They'll have... The thing is, they went up to Darwin. They rested all the big dogs.
Yeah.
So that's got to, they didn't have Jez Cameron. They didn't have the Hawk. They got to rest them up. But if they can come back in against GWS at Geelong, it's pretty formidable.
Tough to look past them. I'm going to agree with you. Geelong to beat GWS, which... Oh, Brayden, is it alarm bells yet for your team?
Well, this is a good first sign. I'm tipping Geelong to beat GWS.
Oh, wow.
It's the first time I'm off them because they're giving me nothing.
I've been Gold Coast the whole way through. You got to be the same with GWS.
Yeah, which we flipped because I was like, you're just going to have to tip them every week and they're not going to win. Well, they're actually winning. And GWS, I can't explain why they're going so bad. They have all their players out there for the most part. They're good on every line. They're just not winning. So
bit of a rainy day last week. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a big ask to go to Geelong and beat Geelong ever. So Geelong needing a win. So I feel like they're going to be bloody hungry.
We'll move into the next game. Richmond versus Essendon at the MCG. Now, Essendon top 4 at the moment. Richmond.
Did this just happen, this game? Did they? No. I was thinking the Anzac game, but that's Melbourne.
That's Melbourne.
Melbourne. We'll get there.
Richmond with 17 players, I think, injured now. They're just waiting for the mid-season draft. I don't know if there's a limit on people you can draft, how many you can draft from the mid-season draft, but Richmond's looking to that with a bit of hope. Essendon obviously going very well. Top 4 team, absolutely killing it at the moment. And look, I have to say this is the cocklock of the week, right?
Yeah, pretty much every Richmond game, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll try to keep it fresh every week, but I'm going to go with Essendon being the cock-lock of the week over Richmond at the MCG. It's a tough one to look past.
I don't think we've had I could be very wrong, but it feels like we haven't had any since that first one where the cock-lock was invented and I was joking.
And now it's stuck.
From when it became real, I don't think we've got any wrong, really.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll take your word for it because I enjoy the positivity, Brayden.
We're pretty good.
Who do you got on this one? You have Essendon winning this?
Yeah, you got to have Essendon.
Tough not to.
They're playing good footy. Richmond are just, they got nothing out on the park.
Oh, we'll move into the next one. Hawthorn versus Brisbane at Marvel. Hawthorn.
I'm running out of games for me, cocklock.
Hawthorn with a traumatic loss over the weekend against Port Adelaide. 1 point loss that is going to be tough to get over. Brisbane, massive thumping last week. It is at Marvel, but I know it's crazy to say this, but I think I've got Hawthorn winning this game.
Same. Just looking at it now.
I don't know why, but I just got this feeling from the universe. There's a bit of an aura around this game.
Weird, huh?
That Hawthorn's going to go and make a statement.
It's staring. I'm looking at it, and it's staring back at me, and it's giving Hawthorn. That's what it's saying. So I have to go Hawthorn. They're just a competitive team. Brisbane up and down, but I felt like they were always going to have a big flogging like last week against Richmond at home. Like there was no surer thing. But yeah, I feel like Hawthorn gets it done. It's the same, like Brisbane bully teams at home and like when they haven't had many wins there this year, but
I've had a few.
They load up on like the easier games and I reckon they come down here and they lose to Hawthorn, which is pretty wild. If it happens, we could be way wrong.
All right, well, we'll move into the next game. That is a big statement from both of us. Melbourne versus St Kilda at the MCG. St Kilda. Whoa, what do you reckon? They need a win. They need a win. They need a bit of confidence, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's one of those games, very tough opposition with Melbourne.
I want to be not boring with my cocklock. See, I could look ahead. Adelaide beats West Coast, no doubt. I'm looking at this one, and I'm going to say this because if I'm wrong, I'm happy.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I reckon Melbourne beats St Kilda, and I'm saying that because I don't think St Kilda's that good.
Wow.
Well, they were, I thought they were going to be the real thing after what they produced last year, and unfortunately, they've given me no reason. I was on them all the start of this year. Oh, they're competitive, but they're just going down by 1 or 2. It's unlucky and stuff. Then they just kept getting beaten. And then they got beaten by bigger margins. I'm like, maybe they're just not the team that I thought or that I wanted them to be. So, and Melbourne's a good team. And it's at the MCG. It's not like some voodoo Marvel game. So I feel like Melbourne comes out, gets it done.
Yeah.
Because looking at it, I go, St Kilda's still this nuggety team. They'll grind hard and they'll really challenge them. But I think I'm wrong in that thinking. Like that's ingrained in my head, but I think it's wrong. I think just Melbourne comes out and wins that game. And that's my cocklock. I'm saying that's my cocklock.
Huge.
Because if I'm wrong, I'm happy. Because I've wanted Saints to be this team all year.
I feel like we all have. I think we all want St Kilda to be successful.
Yeah,
because they cop a lot of criticism.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, it's like the Western Bulldogs, right? That they have the talent. They have the capability. You just need them to get W's on the board.
Yeah.
We all want it to happen. It's just yet to kind of come to fruition this year in a consistent manner. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I will also pick Melbourne in this one. It's always tough to look past Melbourne and any team, to be honest, in the competition at the moment. But, yeah, we'll say Melbourne's going to beat St Kilda at the MCG on that one. We'll move into the next one, Adelaide versus West Coast at Adelaide Oval. Do you think it's a danger game for Adelaide? West Coast, formidable side.
It's a shorter trip, just a little flight. So they've got that going for them.
Jeez, you're really just clutching at straws here.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Adelaide's coming good, as you would have seen last week. No ranking, but I still think they're good enough to beat West Coast. West Coast are more competitive, but I don't see them beating Adelaide at home.
Screw it. I'm going to go West Coast here. I'm just going to go West Coast. To get the dub over Adelaide at home. A bit of a dagger in the heart. West Coast. Love that. But we'll move into the very last game of the round. Fremantle versus Collingwood at Optus Stadium. I won't speak too much on this because I think you'd probably know what my opinions of who's going to win this game and everything else. But I'll let you speak on the competition of the two squads. Fremantle going pretty well at the moment. Good win over the weekend versus St Kilda, and they're looking the goods. They have got a bit of goal kicking yips at the moment, but if they start kicking straight, they're going to be a very tough team to beat.
Knowing them as well against Collingwood, they'll probably kick something ridiculously straight. Like they'll kick all their set shots or whatever. Freo is a really good team. Like they've finally got it figured out and it's clicking. They're competitive all the time.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really tough game for you guys. And they're good everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they got a really strong midfield. Obviously, Sarong's in there. They got Young and Brayshaw.
And everyone else,
So they accumulate the ball a lot. They get it forward to their big key forwards. They got so many key forwards. They got Amos. They got Patrick Voss, the young kid that's, he played a really good game. Inaccurate, but a good game.
Alex Pearce down back.
They got Alex Pearce down back.
That'd be fun to play against him this week.
He just locks people down.
He's an incredible human. He's a very good defender.
And then they got Rhino, Eminem, that just comes off half back with his bleach peroxide hair.
Frederick will be out with concussion protocol, I think, from last week, unfortunately. But they're a very formidable team. It's a tough opposition this weekend. But hopefully we can beat them at their home ground.
Well, you're going to need forward options. You're going to need some forward options. Everyone you put in that 50 arc, let's stay clear of that 50 arc, Mace, because it seems to be a bit of a black hole at the moment. But hopefully you can figure out the puzzle, get some guys up there and kick some goals. I'm not tipping on that one, but
I didn't want to do it to my face.
I got to tip.
Jeez, Brayden, come on.
That's the one that we do have to tip every week. We got to stick with Collingwood every single week.
Every single week. That's
and we've had 3 years of podcasting, and it's been pretty good tipping Collingwood the last 3 years. I got to tell you.
Jeez, how good. Well, that is it for the footy round. We'll move into one of our favorite segments. Every week we do this. Do a bit of the fan questions. What do you want to know from us, and what do you want answered from us? And we'll start off a bit of footy questions. Now, one of these came in and says, why do players wear their Guernsey so tight? From Joshua Colley.
That's a good question.
That's a fair question. I'm still waiting for the longer shorts. That's what I'm waiting for, because I still think it's weird us wearing booty shorts where our tights are longer than our actual shorts.
How long would you wear your shorts? Like down past the knees, like basketball shorts?
I mean, at least halfway down the leg. I mean, right now we're sitting at about a quarter. Like, surely
Eddie Betts
we
wore
can get
shorts that went halfway down.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, why can't I get the same order? Like, surely I can get something that fits me a little bit more properly. I've been trying to get stuff to fit me for 10 years, Brayden. All I get is the quadruple XL, which is a lot wider and not much longer, unfortunately.
You need the cargo shorts.
Can you imagine the zip shorts? Maybe like as soon as you go warm up with the zip, they unzip them ready to go for the game. I will say the reason a lot of players wear the Guernsey so tight is so opposition can't, whenever they tackle you, get their hand in there to be able to pull you down with the Guernsey. I think that's a lot of reasoning. And it just feels better whenever it's tight. If it's loose and you kind of feel like it's rolling in the wind when you're having a set shot, it's just like another thing to distract you. So I think whenever you have it kind of tight, properly fitting, it gives you a bit of confidence looking good out there in the big sleeveless tank. I would say that's probably why most players like it tight. I don't make the rules, Brayden. I still think the bounce should be taken out. But
do you struggle to get that bad boy off?
Yeah, it's a long jersey. Yeah. It's a long Guernsey. You usually get someone to pull off from the back. You'll see a lot of players do that. Especially if it's like a wet game, it sticks to you. It's tough to get it off. So you get the player to kind of pull it up from the back and take it off. It's a very good question, Joshua.
This one's from another Joshua, Josh BCE. Thoughts on the push in the back in the last quarter?
Oh, that was an interesting one. I'm still confused by it, to be honest with you. There's a few. Yeah, I don't want to comment on too much because I'll get fined. But it's at the Collingwood game versus Adelaide over the weekend. It was in the fourth quarter where I kind of tackled someone and they got called as a push behind. There was a couple of kind of funny scenarios that played out in this game. I didn't mention this other one, but it's the end of the game. We're trying to get stoppages, right? And as a big fella, you can kind of look a bit fumbly and bumbly at times, right? So the ball kind of is making its way towards the boundary line. I'm picking it up. I'm running towards Craig, and Craig's yelling, get the ball out of bounds kind of thing. So I kind of act like I juggle it a bit, and then I run it out of bounds. And once I know I'm guaranteed over the line, I handball it to Darcy Cameron, which believe me, that's not a good idea for a ruckman to pull it to another ruckman. But knew it was out. It was like, oh, throw in. I'll just gotta look over to Fly and just give this cheeky smile. Like, that'll do.
I actually remember that one because your first action was like you tapped it towards the line. I was like, if that goes over, he's cooked. But it like bounced up to you, and then you had it, and then you're like, what do I do? Now I got the ball.
Yeah, act like I turned. Push to the back the last quarter. I still don't know. Sorry, Joshua BC, but we'll have to talk to the umpires. Try to figure that one out. We'll move to the next one. Now, this is from SarahXH.art. Glove was off during the game. How's the hand?
Because you still had the protection on.
Still had a little bit of taping in the little guard over it, but I took the glove off. Didn't really do much good over the weekend, if I'm being totally honest with you. But I want to get back to just not having to wear anything on my hands because I hate it because it kind of screws with your grip and everything else. But the hand is trending in the right direction. Therefore, that's a good sign. So that's why hopefully we start wearing less accessories on the hand and can move to none at some point. That's
more accessories somewhere else, like a fedora.
I still got to move to the headband. I'm still trying to figure if that's a possibility from Darcy Moore.
How triggered would people be if you started rocking a fedora to games?
Oh my gosh, people! I think someone wore one actually to a game. It was a hat. Jimmy Steins wore a hat to a preseason game once and copped a lot of flack. Anyway, the next question: ladder predictions for round 24. So end of the year. We'll go top 4. Who do you got in your top 4?
Well, are we taking out Collingwood? Collingwood.
Take out Collingwood. Can't use them. Go to the top 4.
So
anyone else
top 4, but anyone else that's not Collingwood.
Yeah.
I'll go Sydney. Obviously,
easy.
I feel like Melbourne get there, and I know they versed North twice, which helps.
Yep.
Then I will say, I just feel like Essendon have to drop out, don't they? Oh my God, it gets very hard. I got to say,
you're struggling here. It's only 4 teams.
Did I say
There's
Melbourne?
18 to pick from. You said Melbourne already in Sydney. You got 2 more to fill.
Then I'll just go.
You don't want to.
I'll go GWS and
because it's your team
and the Suns.
Yes. That's it. We finally converted him. Gold Coast Suns, we've done it. All it took was 2 home games at TIO Stadium to convince them that you're in the top 4.
I bet they get flogged this week.
All right, well, I'm going to go top 4 outside of Collingwood Football Club. Well, we'll start off with the obvious one, the Gold Coast Suns. Out on an absolute tear at the moment, as you'd expect. Sydney will be up there.
Yeah.
I'll go Melbourne, obviously, too. Yeah. And then I will go... Geelong. I'm going to go Geelong. They've got the talent there and they've got the experience. I think I'm going to put them into the top 4. That's going to be my ladder predictions for the end of the season. But we'll move into the next segment, which is entertainment in general life, Brayden.
Yeah, let me ask you this from J Mohit. Do your teammates pull pranks on you in the locker room?
Probably not me. Darcy Cameron's the go-to. I think Darcy Cameron. Getting pranked, yeah. We always prank him, and I don't think I give off the prank me vibe because whenever someone tries to prank me, I give them the straight, just like this is not funny. You're screwing with my prep, and I don't appreciate it.
He'll love this. He'll have a good laugh at this.
The only thing I've really been pranked out recently is whenever all the boys wore the goggles.
Yeah,
and I walked into the I think it was like Ash Johnson was walking out, and he kind of looked at me like, oh gosh, he might be mad here. I don't know what to expect. And I walked in, I saw about 9 guys wearing my goggles, and it pulled it out of my little case there. So I think that's the only prank I've really had as of recent. And that's the thing, right? If someone were to prank me, I think I'd go 110% back at them. I mean, it would be full on something, and it would be subtle where it might take 3 weeks for it to happen. So they've forgotten the fact that they pranked me, but then in 3 weeks' time, it's going to be a huge inconvenience for them. They're going to go, who was this? And they'll never be able to find it, and they won't think it's me. And I'll just be laughing.
Psychotic
in the back.
Taylor Swift fan behavior.
It's very T-Swift.
Who's the pranksters? I feel like Steele's a prankster.
Geordie's up there. Geordie's number 1, I'd say. He gets pranked quite a bit too. Steele's pretty good.
Steele stole Reedy's keys and hid in his car. And then when Reedy got in, scared the absolute shit out of him.
There's a lot of like shoes and phones and water bottles get put up in the ceiling. I get asked to do that a lot because it's an easy thing for me to put stuff into the ceiling.
Stealing your shoes would be that annoying.
It is super annoying. Well, I'm still on the other day. It was really, really just frustrating to deal with. Trying to go into a gym session going, where the fuck are my shoes? Not ideal. But I'd say Geordie's number one prankster at the club.
I hate not being able to find my keys around the house. I get
that
irrationally angry.
What is it? Spectacles, Walton Watch. We won't say that word. Spectacles, blank, and Walton Watch. I'll let you rhyme that one out.
Matthew Jaws, will Phil Cox be a guest on the podcast?
We need to get Filthy Phil on here, the father. Phil Cox is my dad. He unfortunately is back in America now.
He's always doing stuff for the Collingwood Footy Club.
Oh,
he should be on contract.
He seriously should be getting some kind of payment. He was given a GoPro. And was one of the funniest segments I've ever seen in my life. Did that come back
to the club, or is he?
I don't know, actually.
We need to get him some gear so he can he needs a YouTube channel.
He just needs Channel 7 just to focus on him.
Yeah.
He's got no reason to know anything about AFL being an American, but he just knows every single detail. It is absurd. He knows way more than I do. And we should do a little quiz game with him.
Yeah.
Of history of the AFL.
Quiz game. Do you know that Swanee has a food cooking show on 7 May?
Yeah. He asked me to be on it. And I told him no. Didn't pay enough. That's it though. It was like a half day to go to this barbecue joint. I said, look, man, I appreciate it, but yeah, you ain't getting me out of bed for that kind of money.
He promoted it on his socials, and I was like, I'd never heard of it. And then I started checking it out. It's like, yeah,
is it good?
It seems good. It's like just all barbecue stuff, like stuff that I want to eat.
Of course.
It seems nice, but all barbecue stuff.
Shout out to Swanee doing something different. I like it.
Well, it sounds good that you helped him out. Good, mate. Now we're over to the dating segment. Biggest red and green flags. If you had to go...
I'll say green flag. You can say the red flag. Biggest green flag for me, I am OCD clean. Everything has to be in their place. Everything has to be perfectly set before I leave the house. I can't leave in the morning. And I think sometimes this is the reason I'm late to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because I'm so particular with everything that goes on, whether it be prep work in the gym before I go train, whether it be the way my shoes are tied or the way I put things on. It's all just crazy in that sense. And I think for me, a green flag is someone who is a very clean person if I walk into their house. And I know for a lot of women out there, it's their bathroom is the big kind of question mark whenever it comes to cleanliness, because they just go
shit everywhere.
It's like a powder bomb is going off in there. And if you can go into someone's car and it's clean, that's a big green flag for me.
Yeah.
Because a car is something that you're very transient in. You're out. You throw stuff here and there, whatever it is. And if you have a clean car, I feel like you'll have a clean house and you'll be a clean person.
I don't have clean anything.
Yeah, I know.
I have a clean studio.
You do have a clean
I have
studio.
pride in the studio, and then the rest I don't give that much of a shit about.
What's your red flag?
I feel like, you know how people say opposites attract? I feel like that might be true, but that can only last so long. I feel like you got to have something in common. What do you talk about if you have nothing in common?
Well, yeah,
how do you get along? How do you do shit? How do you do things?
I don't know.
It's all good to grow. We all like to grow. Growing's fun. But I feel like you got to have something in common.
You got to be able to have a conversation, right? You got to be able to chat. If you're going to sit there and spend the rest of your life with someone, you want to go home and be able to talk to them about the most intimate things and the most mundane things and everything else, right?
Yeah, I feel like if we were going to go through what our red flags are, I'd be communication for sure. And I feel like that's very high on everyone's list of things that they like. Yeah, I'm not big on communication.
I think there's a TikTok or Instagram thing out there, and it's a list of 300 icks.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
I've seen the one where the guy writes down whenever a girl says something that's wild as. He has a ick list, and it's funny as. Because there was this girl that was she's it might be a bit of a controversial one, but I have an ick of when guys get hit by a really slow moving car.
There's one that was guys walking downhill. Have you ever seen that? It's just real ridiculous ideas. But we'll go to the very last one. And this is actually from a friend of mine because he knows that I'm absolutely obsessed with this place. Alex Green, shout out. Thanks for listening, my brother. Is not liking Messina a red flag? The answer to that is 100% yes.
Yeah, well, I feel like if you don't like joy, it's the same
if
thing.
You don't like joy.
I had Messina and the lady put I get the 2-scoop cup.
Huge.
Salted caramel white choc on the bottom because I know it's good. And then I experiment with the top one.
Oh.
And I got this one that was on their specials list. You know how they got the specials list? Yeah. And it was it had crushed up cone pieces in it.
Coneception.
Caramel swirls and hazelnut. And it was delicious. But I asked for that on top and it's the first scoop was a half scoop. So she's like, I'll give him another scoop, and then did a full scoop on top of that. It was, so much ice cream. But I walked out like that happy. And
you never go out of there without a smile on.
I realized, I was like, this is making me very happy. And I just savored every bite. And I was like, it's like almost like that meditation. You want to come back to being present. I was like, I'm going to enjoy every single bite of this. And every single mouthful was just like a little taste party.
It's so good. And I went to, I'm a big fan of the frozen yogurt also. I love Messina, and they have the special, the pound cake, and like the hundreds and thousands of that one. Unreal.
I got an Anzac one. It had Anzac biscuits in it.
Man, we should do a whole podcast on this. I get the half-liter tub at Messina though, which means
you're
I'm a
those
fat piece of
annoying
shit.
freaks.
But
in the lineup, and it's like, come on, I just want like one cup. Like,
I'm like, I'll have 7 different flavors. I did go. So Yochi is a favorite of mine, right?
Like
and goated, right? Goated, and Yochi had a massive line the other day because they're such a good establishment, right? So I went to go get some froyo at another place, and I kid you not, I'm sitting there in this next to this like table, and I watch this guy out the door. He walks by once, walks by twice, walks by 3 times, and it's not just a walk by not paying attention. He's full sussing out the joint. Yeah. Walks by a 4th time. The 5th time he walks by, he comes in. He came to his senses finally. He couldn't resist the urge anymore. This all happened within like a 3-minute span.
So he's walking past going like, Craig, you don't need it, mate. You don't need it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying his verbal dialogue to himself going, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. You're in a freaking diet. You don't need this. You don't need this. Damn it, I want it. Yeah. Oh, and he walked in. He got a triple scoop, and I was like, you deserve it.
They got to print money, like Yochi, like especially.
I don't. The best.
I get it, but I don't get it because I get it because I've done it, but it'll be winter. It'll be the middle of June. It'll be like 11 at night. They open ridiculously late. And you'll be like, fine, I'll just get one. I'll get one. And you go there and there are lines out the door. And you're like, how is everyone thinking the same as me? It's like -3 degrees and it's like you want an ice cold frozen yogurt. It doesn't make sense, but I don't know. They got to be putting something in it. It's addictive ass.
Love and lots of sugar. But that is it for us. Thanks so much for those that put in the questions on the Instagram account and everything else. Make sure you have a look for that every single week. It comes out on Mondays usually. I know it's Sunday, so we did a bit of an early record this week. But thank you so much, everyone, for listening in. Hopefully you've had an incredible week and you have an amazing weekend ahead. Appreciate you. We appreciate you being part of this community. And thank you so much for listening in, and we will speak to you soon.
Yeah.